Vinland Saga and the idea of love. Love and the search for its meaning are two of the most prevalent and influential concepts in the prologue of Vinland Saga. The word love is repeated multiple times throughout several chapters and influences the development of two of the most important characters in the entire work, Prince Canute and, to an extent, the protagonist, Thorfinn. So, join me as we analyze the way that love is presented in this wonderful manga. The first time that love is mentioned in the manga is in chapter 27, The Warriors and the Monk, by Father Willibald. Father Willibald is a Christian monk and a religious advisor to Prince Canute, who is following Askeladd's group. In the scene, Atle, a Danish warrior, and his brother describe their relationship to him in order to get a better grasp of what love is. The two Vikings speak about how inseparable they are in battle and how they look after one another, always having each other's back. The drunk monk then asks Atle, "Would you have my back?" At which the brother responds, "No, you're a stranger." The religious man calmly answers, "Then that is not love." The question posed to the brother gives us a small glimpse at the concept of love, the way the manga's creator, Yukimura, envisions it. When I saw this scene, I thought, of course that is not love, that is camaraderie, caring for your brother and fellow warrior. Now, the second time that love is mentioned is a bit later on in the final panels of chapter 36, when Father Willibald asks Prince Canute, "Was it love that Lord Ragnar felt for you?" Just a reminder, Lord Ragnar was initially introduced to the story as a mentor and consultant to Prince Canute. However, Canute reveals that he was actually a father figure for him, raising him, teaching him how to fish and cook, and giving him all the love and attention his father, the Danish king, would not provide him. So, my knee-jerk reaction was to respond, yes, it was love. He was like a father to Canute growing up. But then, the monk remarks that Ragnar was present to a slaughter at a British village a couple of days ago. He didn't take part in the murders, but didn't try to stop them either. If he was a man with love in his heart, why didn't he share that love with the British and only kept it for Canute? This isn't love. This is discrimination, he proclaims. He points at a nearby corpse and says that this man is love itself. He will not hate, he will not steal, and his body will become one with nature. He cannot take part in any acts of aggression. He will not harm others, but rather will benefit others in this state, i.e. the animals and insects that feed on him. Father Willibald's love is an ideal, universal love that encompasses all. It is tied to humanity's ultimate fate, that being death, but can be found in all natural things, in the snow, the mountains, the sun, but it is missing from the hearts of men. Empowered by this realization, Canute stops a raging berserker by simply touching him and has a profound change of heart. Now, my reaction to this description of love was this. At first, I loved it. Then I started deconstructing it and ended up hating it. And then I fell in love with it again. Let me elaborate. In the beginning, I simply found this universal love concept really appealing. It is an iteration of the Christian doctrine about loving every human and all things, and it does go against the Viking barbarism and affinity for violence. This monk and his teachings about the definition of love seemed like a beacon of light amidst the darkness and the vulgarity. Then I started noticing some cracks in that definition, and I found 3 flaws with it. You see, Father Willibald doesn't elaborate at all on this theory. When he says that the corpse is love itself, or more beautiful than anyone else, someone could think that he's worshipping death, or that humans should pursue the annihilation of humanity. He even admits, when asked by Canute, "You are saying that the essence of love is death?" Yes. The phrasing is awkward here. Perhaps by death he means sacrifice, but the above statement is extremely nihilistic. What is more, he talks about how God's creation is brimming with love. The sky, the mountains, the sun, everything is in peaceful coexistence, except humans. However, these are all inanimate objects. They do not have a mind or a feeling. This analogy between the elements of nature and man is fundamentally flawed. It compares man with something out of his league, rendering this comparison idiotic. And finally, it dawned on me, the third reason why I hated this definition. This concept of love leads to a very disturbing conclusion. So, if God made everything, including nature and humans, and if nature is loving, but there is no love in the hearts of men, it means God made humans to be flawed, or that he allowed humans to lose their love. This is a very pessimistic, anti-theist conclusion that can crush a man's soul. And we see this exact thought process manifest in the manga, inside the heart of Canute. He goes from sad to bowing in the snow, overwhelmed by nihilism, losing all faith, and then rising with anger and resentment in his eyes. A resentment which in the following panels and chapters is clearly targeted at God himself. We see Canute blame the Father in heaven for forcing humans to seek an unattainable paradise, and look and rage at the cross. The idea of love has fundamentally changed him, and not necessarily for the better. Yes, he's no longer the scared, silent, noble boy. However, he is filled with rage and dreams of building a utopia on Earth. And in order to do that, he needs power. Before this realization, he was weak, yes. But after this realization, he becomes power hungry. And you may ask, okay, wait, you said you ended up adoring the idea of love in Vinland Saga. Yes, I finally did, but not as an ideology, but as a narrative technique, a narrative method. I have never seen a character like Canute do a complete 180 and reinvent his character due to a change in ideology. I have never seen a writer in any medium present the thought process of a man losing his faith and having such an epiphany, regardless of whether you agree with this ideology or not. For instance, I don't. The essence of love is death. Nya, 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 nya. Shut up, you drunk pessimist monk. What do you know? You're like 23 years old. I'm older than you. Where was I? Regardless of whether you agree with this definition or not, you have to hand it to Yukimura and his masterful craftsmanship with the pen. You totally buy Canute's transformation and his future actions. Thorfinn, on the other hand, doesn't take this idea of love to the logical extreme, but rather applies it to his daily life after the end of the prologue. And this was the definition of love in Vinland Saga. I might consider making a part 2 to this video for Thorfinn and how he reacts to the idea of love, but no matter what, I will be making more Vinland Saga lore videos in the coming months. So smash that subscribe button so that you don't miss a thing. Comment below what other aspect of the Vinland Saga universe you would like to see explored in this channel. If you like fantasy manga with lots of battle and gore, I've made an entire playlist on the lore of Goblin Slayer, and for those of you that love mystery anime, check my playlist on the lore of the Promised Neverland. Until next time, fellow Taco adventurers.